He was, yeah, I'm gonna upload the video later on. Papa. 5K, I did complete it. So I made my goal. So now I'm down here at the splash pad, the Citizen Park Playground, the outside splash pad or splash park. Um, Way down for the kids. I go down here for the kids. I'm down here with the babies, let them play, let them fill out. Yeah, out of down here, see, that's why I'm sitting on the ground. It's full down here. So, when they made it, when you kids need somewhere to go, everybody, can't go to the pool all the time. Then, everybody can this is just, I'll turn it around so y'all can see it. This is just, my granddaughter right there in the pink. But this is just a flat ground. It's like asphalt, well, cement or whatever, but kind of, I think it's a little softer, a little safer or whatever. And, easy as painting and the little activities they got on the water shooting up. So, yeah. Turn the camera back around. But yeah. So I finished the 5K. Yeah, so I'm proud of that accomplishment for me. Yeah. And on to the next, right? On to the next. I don't know what's next on the horizon or as 5Ks or activities like that. But, sky's the limit. Sky is the limit. So, yeah, I'm just out here and having a good time. And I can pretend that I'm at the beach. Right? Sometimes I need to go on the language home and the sand and everything. Plus the things, little beach stuff, right by. I know that. Lord bless me with another vehicle. Maybe driving somebody's beach. You know how soon it is. Get in the car, with my son, with the kids, go. Hit the road, hit the road. But until then, I'm just gonna be chilling. So what y'all doing on this Saturday? On this magnificent Saturday. Y'all getting outside, as we say we're getting outside, I want to outside. And the grandma's outside. More of a grandma than I am my auntie. My activity. Anybody popping on here on LP or YP? I just wanted to hop on here for a few minutes. Just see how y'all doing. Let y'all know y'all saw specific in the video. So y'all, but I did complete it. I'm just proud of me. I'm proud of me. I did something again that I stretched myself and I pushed through and I made it. So with that, I'll see y'all later, Facebook. See y'all later. Yeah, that's what's up, y'all. Just us, y'all, over here on the Facebook post, though. Everybody locally doing stuff I gotta do it. So, yeah, I know y'all, some of y'all are too. But I just popped down here. I know we gotta get in this, out these watch hours with this monetization. It's not an easy task, but I'm determined. I can't always get on at the same time. I try to, but I can't always get on at the same time. Man, hey, I got so much to say. Why not get on more and more and more, right? That's what I'm doing, more and more and more. Y'all getting ready for seeing more and more and more of me, right? More and more and more. Because when you're trying to build something special, you gotta put in a lot of time and effort. Hard work. You gotta put in a lot of time and effort. Putting in time and something like that. So yeah, you gotta put in time and effort in this. Somebody else's child, not one of mine. You gotta put in time and effort, though. You gotta put in the work. It's not gonna come to you. all year. And I like work. That's not how life works. And just this year, really, you know, so I'm putting in the work. I know I missed it there, so I think I can get it on. I planned on getting on Friday last night when I went to the first Friday downtown, but I ended up calling a friend of mine to come hang out with me. We hadn't caught up with each other last year. But everybody, life be life, and everybody be busy doing their own thing. But, so I invited her to come down, and she came down, and then we walked around. Look, there wasn't really much going on. It was the first Friday activity, but they used to have like it's this area called the Alley. That's where they mainly host it. But they used to have like the bands playing and all that stuff going on. But it wasn't, they didn't have all that. So we decided to go get us something to eat. She just got off from work, and I had to come home from doing all my stuff that I had done all day yesterday. So we just went taco sushi, got us something to eat. And I got me some Takis or whatever they call them. Some Takis and, because I ain't eat rice, it's just a pile of rice that sit on the plate for garnish, I guess. Which I do eat rice, but not just no plain rice. But we just sat on there. We sat there and caught up with each other, talked about old times. And I ain't say old times, it ain't been that long, but we just caught up with each other on how life's been going and everything, and where it's going to, and what we were doing. And so it was good. It was good. It really was good to catch up. It really was good to catch up. And it's actually good to just not be on here. Sometimes you gotta enjoy life. Everything, ain't constant. So everything ain't constant. That's what we do. Enjoy life. Mirror. Flashing water. Okay, go splash. That's what you had a splash pad, baby. That's what they do. Yeah, people want to go to splashing water. You at splash pad. That's what you do. Don't throw it over here. Go over there. No kids over here. Yeah, I'm here. I'm checking my phone, but yeah, no kids over here. Over there. Yeah. Um, Go play. It'll be time to go in a little bit. What? You cannot get it wet, Ray. It's gonna mess up again. It ain't gonna make no barking noise then. Fine. Yeah. Got her little, some kind of little stuffed animal, little thing that my daddy bought her. Just said, and it makes no barking noise, but then when you get it wet, it's not gonna make the barking noise no more. So she still wanna put it in there. She still wanna put it in there, so that's what she did. What? No, we came to the splash pad. We did not come to the swings, baby. We do that another day. Okay? Yeah, we want to go everywhere but where he at. And that's how life is sometimes, ain't it? That's how life is sometimes. We want to go everywhere but where we're supposed to go. Everywhere but where we went to go to, right? Where we plan to go to. We want to go somewhere else, right? Go play. We're going to go home. Yeah. Trying to get in that whole couple hours. They going to bring something up going home. All right. Might well go home then. Yeah. They're going to bring on, shutting it down. Bring going to shut it down. Bring going to shut it down. Be careful. Oh, yeah. Yeah, after the race, we stop doing that. You're gonna fall. Stop. Get down. Get down, or we're going home. Yeah, see me getting grandma mode. But yeah. So after that, we went inside the restaurant and got something to eat. Yeah, I tried a new beer. They have the craft beer, like there's some brew, every part of the brew. So I had a blackberry cider. Let's see. I had a glass of that and I poured some water. I had a smash burger. I'll add some pictures later on when I do the video from the actual walk. I'll add those pictures in the video. So y'all can see that. But in honor of giving me my watch out, I got to get it, right? So that's why I'm on here. Got to get it. I got to get it in whenever I can. Drop it in. Like, sure, got to get this monetization at like 300 and some hours now when I checked it last. I said like 303, 309 or something like that, which is increasing because I was in the twos for a minute. Now I'm in the 300, so I got to get on up out of there too. Got to get on up out of there too. I got to get on up and go. Get on live. And dedicate my time to my work. Can't get distracted. I love distraction going on. But I can't get distracted, right? And I get distracted. Gotta keep on my path. Stay on my path. Some distractions are good and some are bad. So I stay on my right path. You know, it seems like a good distraction, but you know, speak too soon. Y'all know y'all know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to speak too soon. I won't say too much. Seems like a good distraction so far, but I'm just still, I gotta keep my priorities in order. Okay? You gotta keep my priorities in order. So yeah, ladies, you gotta keep your priorities in order. Because yes, when you need someone, especially gonna spend time together, quality time where you're, in person or online or whatever, distance or whatever. You still gotta make time, to communicate and get to know each other. So, I get that. I get that. But I've been one to allow people to monopolize my time, and that's friendship, family. That's just my nature, my natural nature, right? But the girl got the same in a healthy way. People in a healthy way. Just not people or places or things to monopolize my time. Like keep a healthy balance. And that's in anything that you do. You got to keep a healthy balance, ladies. You got to keep a healthy balance. And, we've been talking a lot about dating and narcissism and things like that. You got to keep a healthy balance. I see somebody's on here with me. Hey, hey, hey. But you got to keep a healthy balance in in any kind of relationship. Whether even if it's a long term relationship, you're married, you still you got to keep a healthy balance of your me time, your time with your significant other, spouse, or you got to still take some time for yourself. Like even for me, with being there for my family and everything, you got to take some time out for yourself. Guys, it's essential. It truly is essential. If not, you're gonna get burned out. You're gonna get frustrated, and the loved one gonna feel the frustration. And you can't completely blame them because you gotta set those boundaries yourself. You gotta make that time for yourself. So that's what I'm learning to do. Make that time, take the time for myself. Even for right now, yeah, I'm letting the kids play, but I'm sitting here, it's something for me. Sitting here talking to y'all, sharing my information, my knowledge, things that I've learned, things that I'm still learning, sharing that with y'all. But, it's on this journey of life, all the things that I've been through, you can't afford to just stay around and just, do things on the fly, yeah, you can say, okay, well, I'm not gonna plan things out wholeheartedly, but I'm also not gonna play games in this stuff. Play games. And that's with everybody. You gotta be honest and open and upfront with people. You really do. You gotta be open and honest with people. Hey, Marina, how you doing, girl? I'm all right. It's doing all right, child. I'm out here with these baby got the splash pad thing we got. I did the 5Ks in the morning. Yeah, let you see this. Yeah, it's a little thing they got here. But yeah, it's play. It's part of the baseball field recreation center. Um, but yeah, so I'm just sitting here while they playing. Got this I forgot I ain't bringing a chair with me. And one thing about how crowded it was gonna be, so I'm sitting down here on the towel. But while they play out there in the water. I'm just talking about life, girl. Just talking about life. How your Saturday going? How you doing today? I know I saw one of your shorts earlier when you was walking on the treadmill. If I do get me one, it's gonna be a small one like yours. Yours appears to be small, unless that's just the way the camera makes it look. Yeah, they are. They having a good time. Yeah, it was even more crowded than this when I first got here. We've been here since about 3:30 probably. But that's why I'm trying to stay here until it's time to go pick up my daughter and mama from work. But yeah, but I was just talking about how, you can't, you gotta have a healthy balance. You can't let people, distract you from your purpose. You can't let people monopolize your time, whether intentional or unintentional. You still gotta have some kind of boundaries, right? Good. Oh, you got to fry some fish? Yeah, we had some yesterday a little bit. My mama had one fried fish. She wanted some mullet chops. She old school stuff, and she wanted some mullet. So I then got her some mullet. It was a walking pad. Oh, it's a walking pad. Okay, I'm gonna look that up then. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna look that up. Glad I mentioned it. Yeah, but yeah, what kind of fish you frying? Or what kind you want to fry? So I mean, you want to fry, but you don't want to fry. Or that means you want to eat it, but you don't really want to fry. Oh, but yeah, yeah. So I feel this. Making sure I just protect myself in all situations. Just keep living my life, keep, staying on the path that I'm on. Amen. Magic word, boundary. Right, boundaries, exactly. You gotta set some kind of boundaries in all the ships, right? Friendship, relationship, all the ships, kinship, all of them. You gotta set some boundaries, right? And the person who didn't normally set too many boundaries, now I'm like, I'm making sure, like, no, 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 that's about it, that's about it, that's about it, no, no, no. I'm making sure, making sure I ain't getting caught up, I'm not getting caught up, man. Man. You got some flounder. Okay, yeah, flounder's good. Yeah, I've been flounder before. It's pretty good. Talking about, oh, it's playing some kind of little game. Child, I gotta watch these children. You gotta watch these children. Sometimes looking cut it. They was pointing at their nose and stuff. Child. I'm like, wait a minute. And she's saying something too, but now they all, my granddaughter and the other little girl and my grandson, they playing the little games. I guess it's some little game that they got, where they play their nose and cut it with something. Child. What? Okay, it's a puppy. Yeah, she got a little stuffed animal. Like her brother planted. And she don't even put her hair getting wet. My daddy took him yesterday and got him. It looks like one of those my pet things, whatever, where it'll feel bark. It'll actually bark. But got, obviously got batteries or whatever. And she gonna wet it yesterday at home and then it stopped barking. Now she gonna bring it down here too. And he said, however, people don't be respecting boundaries and more they think they're entitled. Right, and that's why it's like at this point now where I don't want to send the wrong signals. I don't want to, make you think the wrong thing, give you the wrong idea. I want to let you know now, I'm not going to lead you wrong. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And that's the point I'm at right now. I mean, before I done, just went with all them butterfly feelings. Especially, like I said, after my divorce and everything. I got in the butterfly feelings and, got myself in a lot of messes, if you will. I ain't going down that road no more. I'm not. I'd rather be by myself. I'd rather be by myself than to go down those roads again. So it's like, no, we send some boundaries and somebody might see this video, but We setting some boundaries. We protecting ourselves. Accept it or you don't. At this point, yeah. Like I said, I can't allow myself to make the same, mistakes that the little young girls is making. I can't make allow myself to make the same mistakes. Now I do know it. At one point, yeah, I didn't have much experience, but now I do have more experience. So when they say you know better, you do better, right, right, man. You know better, you do better. Yeah, I know better, so I'm doing better now. You know. Mm-mm. No, I don't want to send no wrong signal or nothing. Mm-mm. No. Right, you gotta protect your peace. Exactly, you gotta protect your peace. Right, and that's where I'm at now. You either accept it or you don't accept it. And, if the conversation ain't going how I want it to go, I'm gonna redirect it. I'm gonna turn it around. Right? And you don't like it, then let me know now. Then we can cut it short now. But time will tell. Time will tell. Time will tell. You got to allow people to reveal their true colors, right? You gotta allow them. You gotta just sit back and watch sometimes. So I know I talk a lot about asking the right questions and everything. That's good too, but sometimes you gotta just sit back and watch. Watch that behavior. If you really pay attention to it, don't be looking at it with googly eyes. Watch it, and really pay attention. That's the kind of things that you gotta look at. You gotta really look at things. And like I said, that's where I'm at. I'm protecting my peace. Protecting my peace. Nobody disturbing it. Ain't nobody disturbing my peace. So I'm gonna guard it heavily. Right, amen, girl. I'm gonna guard it heavily. Like this gate behind me, it's a chain. I'm gonna guard it. I'm gonna guard my peace heavily. And yes, ma'am, I'm gonna guard it heavily. Ain't nobody about to disturb my peace. Nobody about to disturb my peace. No, ma'am. Mm-mm. You're not even going down that road. So I ain't trying to be difficult, but if it's what you want, then that's what you're gonna get. Step back and right, and they reveal themselves exactly. And that's where I'm at now. I'm just gonna step back and let folks reveal themselves. Their true colors will come out. You just gotta be patient and wait on it. That's the only thing. You gotta be patient and wait on it. Right. Yeah, reveal themselves. Like come on in due time. In due time. They will reveal themselves. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm waiting on. That's what I'm waiting on. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm good on my own. I'm not saying I don't never want no companionship. I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say that I don't desire a future husband, if that's what God got in the cards for me. Yes, I've been married once and I would like married life again. But I ain't gonna just take it at any account. Not just accept any old thing just because I want to be married. But it's just that, like I said, I got to get to that point where I'm at the point now where I don't want to just be in a relationship no more. I don't want to take the chance of just being in an intimate relationship and it don't lead to marriage. And then that's another notch. Like I'm not going on that road under my breath. I'm not going on that road no more. Yeah, I'm not going on that road no more. I feel am not. So, it ain't no after dark conversation, but it's one of them conversations, right? Like I'm not going on that road no more. I done been down that road, been there, done that. Been there, done that. So, mm-mm. That's not where I'm going. Mm-mm. Not where I'm going. Like I said, the only time I've ever really, truly just dated, honestly, without intimacy, just being honest, was at the age of 13, because I met my ex-husband at 14, so and that was still, I was a teenager, young. And we dated, and of course, after a few months, okay, all right. And from then on, and so I've not just dated, platonically or whatever you want to call it, I have not dated that way in my whole life. Not really. So I'm at the point where, that's what God wants, that's what God gonna get, because I ain't got time for no more mess. I was married most of my life, and now I'm not. And, I don't want to just keep, dating, whatever, dating and dating and dating or whatever. Or, see, I ain't say dating and dating, but I don't want to keep getting in relationships that are like a marriage but not a marriage. No more shacking up, no more none of that. You ain't moving in with me, I ain't gonna move in with you. No, none of that. And for honestly, getting out of it, I mean, some people say, oh yeah, just kick them out or, whatever, they gonna get out of my house, It ain't that simple. It ain't that cut and dry. I was married for 23 years. A long time. Right. Long time. hmm 23 long years. But I met him at the age of 14. And we, were first we were together. At the age when I was 16, we went to prison for 2 years. And, of course, I was still young, so I, broke up with him and, still dated, if you will. And so, like I said, I have not truly just really been by myself in a while since, this is the longest time I've actually honestly been just completely by myself. And yeah, it's been plenty of people, at me or whatever. But I ain't just trying to just accept anybody. I ain't trying to, ain't too many men that want to just, date you before and, don't have no intimacy before marriage. Ain't too many of them out there. I don't care what age bracket, So, it's like at this point, it's like, I don't know. But I can say I know this, dating, me, oh, what you doing? Mia! Hold on. What you doing? Mia! Oh, okay. So I'm just laying on up under the water. I had to check out that girl. You all right? Yeah, we getting up. So, he was laying out on the floor, and the other guy was standing before, was standing up on top, standing above me, what he was taller, but he was up under the water. I don't know what they were doing there. I'm definitely looking to see. But yeah, and so it's like I'm at the point right now, like I'm, I don't want to be intimate no more. Yeah, I mean, I'm human. We all have desires or whatever, but at this point, I can just wait. I can just even be by myself and never again in life, or when I get married, fine. But at this point, I'm not putting myself up for that. I mean, I know some women can, be intimate and not care one way or the other, and they can, hop, 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 or whatever. My heart gets involved. That ain't me. That is not me. I done tried. I ain't gonna lie. I done tried. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, bump this, no, my heart gets into it every time. So I don't done. I'm gonna set myself up for destruction, for heartbreak. I'm not doing that no more. Mm-mm. Like you tell, when they live hard. When I love, I love. Like so. No, I'm not even setting myself up for that. And then when sex is involved, emotions go to flowing, and feelings get involved. For most people who got a heart, I don't see how people who don't have a heart, or can, But yeah, my heart gets involved, so it's like, no, not doing it, not getting caught up, not getting caught up with it. Man, sure am not. So I'm like, Lord, I hear you, I see you, I feel you. So that's it. That is it. So like, yeah, but all my little friends, oh, I ain't say I had a lot of little friends, stop talking like that, but you know, several years ago, yeah. Yeah, some old rekindle with my old flame or whatever, I'm not doing that no more. It's not. Mm-mm. I cut that off way back when. They was like, you all right? I'm so with the knee. No, it was not you. I'm just not. I'm just not going on that road no more. Be careful. Like I'm not just saying, I'm not going on that road no more. Like, no, we cool still. I can call him up right now and just have a conversation. With him. We be cool, but I'm not going on that road no more. You have to come to a point in your life where you're like, look, okay, I'm better than this. It's not what I want, and it ain't. That's not what I want. So, whenever like I say, when somebody come at me want to talk, and I decide to talk to you, that's all we're doing is talking. You know, that's all we're doing is talking. It's just like, I get you wanna think about the future. Your future. You dating somebody. Obviously, you're thinking about the future and everything. But I don't want to be thinking about the future of us. Being. Ooh, I mean, Jesus. Yeah. I got to take it easy. I don't want to be thinking about how we gonna be intimate later on when we get married. That's some years down the road if we get married. When we just getting to know each other. So that's just not where I'm at because, in my opinion, that's how all those, situationships or whatever you want to call them, that's how they start the same way. It's a lot of intimate talk. And so if I'm wrong, then, you know, show me. But, I don't want to be thinking about, what you're going to, yeah, obviously, let's say, eventually when you get married, that's what it's going to lead to, right? But I don't be constantly thinking about it and talking about it because that ain't gonna do nothing but just start some stuff or make you want to start some stuff. And I'm not trying to go down that road. I don't want to lead nobody on. Like I said, I don't want to lead nobody on. But I ain't gonna say too much because somebody may watch my video. But it is what it is. Yeah, it just meant it just happened. If it ain't, then it won't. Yeah, this is the real Marine girl. You getting the real me today. You getting the real. I'm not saying you was getting the fake me, but you getting the real, and you getting the real. Because I'm like, mm-mm. I'm very cautious now. Like, no, like literally, like, I'm very cautious. I'll be very protective over myself. Right? You gotta be. I'm very protective over myself now. Like I said, I ain't living in la la land, fairy tale land no more. I done lived there a few times. I ain't think, no, ma'am, I'm not living there no more. I'm not living there no more. See my granddaughter. But yeah, I ain't living in La La Land. I had to leave. Right, you love the real, right? Exactly. See, if you gotta be real, you gotta be real. It's the only way to protect yourself. Because, like I said, I don't want to send the wrong signals. I don't want to, get a wrong idea. Right. Speak your heart, no judgment. Right. Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. I don't want to give the wrong signal, the wrong signals. I don't want to give out the wrong impression. Like, yeah, I'm human, but no, I ain't. I don't have time for all that no more. And like I said, beforehand, old me, I would have, given in easily, right. I'm glad you understand. So I would have given in easily. I've given in easily in the past. And it was, they would be relationships, they would spend time together daily, everything, whatever. But, they still didn't last. So at this point, I'd rather wait. I'd rather wait some time. I always say, like my poem, celibacy free. I, I'd rather, but I always say that I don't want to be labeled or whatever. I say I'm not quite celibate, but I'm not being, I'm not rushing to be with nobody either. Like, like, Lord send me the right person, then okay, but I'm not rushing. I'm not, I'm not taking those chances. Protecting, I'm always gonna say pot of gold. I'm protected by pot of gold, girl. I am protecting my pot of gold. Yes, ma'am. I have protected my pot of gold. And God has been, continuing to lead me and guide me, and I trust in Him. And life been fine. It's been okay. But then also, like I said, at the same time, I don't want to completely just close myself off from dating. I can say all day long, okay, I don't have time to date because I'm seeing about my mom and seeing about the grands and all the things. I don't want to lose that because I think that's me just, afraid to date. That's just me closing myself off, and that I don't want to do because yeah, if I do that, ain't nobody going, whoever gonna send me, they ain't gonna get a chance, So I don't want to just completely close myself off. But I did take some time away, and just like I said, I cut out all the unnecessary stuff. I cut all of it out. It's been a while now. It's been over a year or two, I think. I cut it all off. You know, and come see you every now and then. I cut it all off, Marina. I cut it all off. Like, real, like, cut it all off. I almost got caught up with this gentleman. And when I say I almost got caught up, my heart was really getting there. I thought I could, I started off in fairy tale land a little bit. And thought, okay, yeah, he's gonna, be with me, show me a different side of how men treat me, which was a good way in a sense, than all the other men that I had, dated or whatever. But I had to realize that he's not going to. And I'm just be honest, he's not going to leave. He's not going to leave. This is not what you want. You're not trying to be, someone else's. You're not trying to be a side piece. That ain't what you set out to do. So after a few months, I cut it off. I literally, I didn't wait to see what you was gonna do. I ended it off. I initiated the ending, and he accepted. He's like, I understand. He's like, I don't agree. I think he said something. I don't. He said he don't agree, but he understand. Or something he said, but he respected it. My God, and we still friends. Like I can call him right now and just say, hey, but I don't. You know, I think the only time I ever reached out to him, one time he reached out to me because he said he saw me driving my car one day, but I didn't. And actually, I'll be honest, I saw him, but I didn't understand. Right, I'm not losing myself, and so I did. I thought I saw him one time when I was on the way. My mom was in the hospital last year, and but it wasn't. I think it said it wasn't him. But anyway, so and I just told him I was here at home with him, hospital or whatever. And he just checked on me about my mom. I asked my mom was doing, and that was it. Both respect those boundaries, and but I was I can respect people. I can respect people that. And so, but yeah, I had to cut it off. I'm not, I'm not getting caught up. I ain't getting caught up with that. So that's why I said now, when people do, but I don't even go approach nobody. It's just not my style. I don't do that. But when people do approach me, trying to, talk or whatever, I'm very cautious. I even had during the hurricane, we had a Hurricane Helene here a couple of years ago. Guys were men in Walmart trying to look for gas money. And he gonna try to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, he wasn't really my type, but he was nice looking, Like, okay, but I gave him a number, he changed number or whatever. And then some told me to get to digging. Some told me to get to digging. And I got to digging, honey, on Facebook. Because he mentioned where area, how he didn't stay too far from the job. So I went digging. Then got in touch with my home girl, and she live in the same little town he live in with his old lady. Nah, brother, we not doing that. We are not doing that. Like, it took her a couple of days to get back with me, but still, like I said, nothing happened. We actually that we were gonna meet. Matter of fact, we were gonna meet here at the park one day, and we didn't. But she ended up letting me know everything. So I was like, good, good, because I'm like, nah, I ain't even going this. When I go in the store now, I already if I see him, I don't even look his way. I make sure I look the other way. I don't got nothing to see. I ain't got nothing to say to you. Mm-mm. You know, but it's just like, I'm not. Nah, it seems like the younger ones seem to be all of that and Matrina. It's all right. Like I used to be, right. I'm drag digging. I'm just not right. Exactly, girl. I got a group of friends. I tell my friends, like, look, we not, no, like, who this name, they stay such and such area. We go to dig. I'm tell you, I don't know if I ever even told about this story online, Marie. One time, this was probably okay. You had a splash pad. Go have fun, or we're going home early. Get your towel and wipe your eyes. Okay, but if you don't like it, we're gonna go home. We'll go play with somebody else, okay? But and yeah, this guy and I probably shouldn't even entertain it anyway. But this guy, this is probably like in I moved back home in 2022, so this is probably like probably 23, 2023 probably. So I still was expressing vulnerability, getting out of that other relationship. And so this guy messaged me on Facebook, right? In Facebook Messenger. Said he was down, he was local. I'm like, and it was not too far from my area. But I was like, okay, I thought, whatever. So we was talking on the phone, and then he told me that he was in jail and that he was about to get out. I think, trying to think what he said he had went in there. I want to say it wasn't nothing serious. It was okay. I remember it was, but it wasn't. He was like, he had was out there selling. He said he was out there selling drugs or whatever, but that it wasn't nothing too serious, and that he was about to get out. I'm like, okay, cool. I give for anybody a chance, right? He was around my age. He's in 40s, and he's in his 40s, right? I'm like, okay, cool. We even video chatted while he was in there. They have a way of getting their phones and all kind of stuff, literally. So we, video chat a couple times, and then of course I told my other homegirl, that actually she stayed in the city where he's supposed to be from. And so we went to digging. I'm like, okay, so you can look up anybody when they're in jail, right? So we went to looking him up, but he was giving me his middle name, right? So we looking him up, and we couldn't find him, right? So she went to digging for more. I forgot what name she put, but some kind of way she was able to find him. And it was his picture, right? It was an old picture, but girl, oh my God, it turned my stomach, Marina. It literally turned my stomach because a few years back before then, I don't know if I was, no, that's longer than that. I want to say probably maybe 10, 15 years ago over in Augusta, this public record. I want to say his last name was Brown, I think. But he literally went to prison for you said you have a cousin and they have phone. Right, they got phones and they can fit it. And exactly, they ain't using the jail phone, they using real phones. But he literally, it turned my stomach. He literally um was in prison for being accused of unaliving his girlfriend's little girl. I think she might have been like 2 or 3 years old. When I saw that, then it's like literally, we found the newspaper article and everything because it was all over the news, and how the judge, they did all the investigations, the detectives and everything. And so first they thought it was her, and then they realized it wasn't. But they came to the realization that it was him, and he, did it while he was babysitting her daughter. And oh my God, that literally turned my stomach. I was like, oh my God. And I thought, like, you know what? I'm going to play the role for a minute. I'm going to just ask him some questions and see what he say. And he was like, yeah, I'm in here for a long time. And he's like, because first he was like, he doesn't get out. And then he was like, yeah, I'm just accused of that. But, people just believe anything and all this and all. Yeah, he was talking about he was about to get out. Right. You ain't never get, and matter of fact, he has a life sentence. He has a life without parole sentence. So he ain't getting out. And I was like, but I wouldn't want him to get out no way. But I was like, literally? How in the world? That literally, like I said, turned my stomach. Turned my stomach. I was like, oh my God. Why you gotta reach out to me? Literally, I was right. Yeah, I had to. Some told me to, yeah, snoop around. But then I'll be honest, after that, I got a little, I guess, self-conscious, if you will, because I was like, well, why did he single me out? Is it because I was talking steady about all the relationship stuff I was talking about, on Facebook? Because, like I said, that's when I was still really going through everything, with, after Rose Wrapped in Thorns, writing a book, writing Jailhouse Liars. And I was like, like I don't want to share too much. It literally, I was like, But I put that behind me. I said, I thank God that we, it never got too much. I was like, how can, how can you? Oh my God, like literally, it was disgusting. You're not hungry. We'll eat when we go home, okay? All right, we go home now. Y'all going home and y'all gonna go ahead and chill at the house and stuff. So it's up to y'all. Let me know if y'all gonna go home or not. No, we'll get something to eat at the house, or you can wait and see what mommy's gonna get you. But we're not going nowhere. So figure it out, okay? And let me know. All right. But yeah, I was like, that literally just turned my stomach on. I was like, nope, no man. I think that was before that that was before I met that situation where I had to end it. That was before that, I believe. But either way, though, like yeah, like I said, I gotta be protective over myself. I gotta be protective. I ain't got time for nobody to be wasting my time. You know, I ain't wasting your time. I ain't got time to be wasting your time. Hold on. Hold on, Melina. Hold up. Hey, hold on. Yeah, my phone got hot or something. I was looking and I saw your vulnerability and tried to exactly play on my phone. I was like, so I was at one point I had kind of careful of what I said, but I was like, dang, do I got a, scarlet letter on my back or something, because like am I attracting, the wrong individuals? Well, that's another reason why I'm very cautious now. Like, I'm very cautious. I'm not taking no chances. I'm not taking no chances. I'm trying my best, girl, to stay away from the younger ones. But the younger ones seem to have an attraction toward me. And I ain't gonna lie, I have an attraction toward them. But I'm like, Lord Jesus, I'm trying to stay away from that. I'm really trying to stay away from it. But, it is what it is. The old one, this is crazy. The old, middle age, whatever, our age, 45, 50, whatever, they just as bad. So at this point, age is not the 100% deal breaker. It's like, mm, but I'm definitely looking at more at character, though. I tell you that. I'm definitely doing that now. Definitely looking more at character. 'Cause, mm, nope. Mm, definitely looking at character. So I guess we're going to title this live Relationship Real Talk. Yeah, real talk relationships. Something. I'm gonna put a title on that, but yeah, girl, it's like, you just, especially, I don't know if you married or single, but child, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, man. Women have to be careful, and it's sad, too. It's sad that you gotta even be like that. Most of them be married and lying about it, right? Right. They most of them be married, yeah, and they'll lie about it and everything. It's like, well, dang, do I gotta, you gotta look up everybody? You gotta pay for that, Truth Finder? You can have Truth Finder, but Truth Finder only tell you so much. It's mainly just gonna tell you the basic stuff. And if they got a record, that's really all Truth Finder gonna tell you. So it's like, golly, like, what I gotta do? What do I got to do? That's why you can say, like, look, I'm gonna wait till God Himself sit down here on my shoulders here. And, like, look, okay, Deborah, this is the one. This is the one, cause like, 'cause people can say anything, and I don't want to just automatically just not believe nothing nobody say, but like people can say anything, and they gonna say what they think you want to hear, right? They gonna say what they think you want to hear, especially they'll watch you and you calculating and uh uh, been there, done that. Like I said, been there, done that. So I'm gonna be very cautious. I'm gonna be very cautious, cause mm-mm. Like I said, ain't got too many more years left in me for the heartbreak, right? For no more mess. It ain't even just a heartbreak, for no more mess. I ain't got time for no more bunch of BS. I really don't. I really don't. I got too much going on, for a bunch of years. If I'm gonna sacrifice my time, then it gotta be well worth it. It gotta be well worth it. If I'm gonna sacrifice my time, my energy, if I'm gonna sacrifice my time and energy, it gotta be well worth it. And I'm just not. Mm-mm. I'm just not. No, not. Just not. So whoever come knocking at this door, or this phone, or whatever, whoever come knocking, you better be knocking with some sense. You gotta be knocking with some sense, honey. Got to be knocking with some sense. So we're not dealing with it. We're not going down that road. Mhm. We're not going down that road. You know, we sure are not. We're not going down that road. So I'm like, no, 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 no. You said yes, you were married. I said, well, I don't believe nothing. I'm investigating. I don't have time to wait, especially when I was saying, okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, exactly. And see, like I said, I was married most of my adult life, so I ain't go through all this internet age and all that stuff. I ain't know nothing about all this internet dating and just meeting people. That whole thing, I ain't know nothing about that until I got, separated and getting divorced. And I'm like, what? What is this? Like Tinder, what is this? Like I ain't know about none of that stuff. I ain't know that. Yes, can I help you, sir? Your towel right there. But I ain't know about none of that. I really didn't, because it wasn't invented. It wasn't, I think the closest thing they had was like a MySpace, but I was already married then. I think when MySpace came out, I was already married with children. So, so yeah, I think I might have created a MySpace. It was just a thing to do the internet like Facebook, before Facebook came out. But I went on that date and nobody. I was married. I was married I was married majority of my life. So like I ain't know nothing about none of that stuff. My child, it'll get you in a world of trouble, honey. Cause I was like, okay, yeah, cause I ain't really going nowhere, so I can, just meet people on here, whatever. And child, I just thank the Lord. Thank the Lord for saving me, for protecting me. But yeah, and Lord, you will watch that. And then Lord protect babies and fools. I was a little fool for a little while, right? I was a little fool for a little while, taking chances. But I learned now that you gotta learn, from your experiences and your mistakes and things. And I've learned. I have learned. But it ain't even all about the internet dating, because Rose Wrapped in Thorns. And his name in the book is Nell, so I'm just gonna write Nell, the character Nell. I didn't meet him online, so it ain't even that. You just gotta be cautious of these people. You gotta be cautious of people. And I know it can go both ways, but it's a lot of predatory men out there, right? A lot of men are the predators out there. They just either predators, or they just, they aim to conquer. They just get many notches on their belt, they're not looking for love. They ain't thinking about none of that stuff. And so I ain't getting caught up. You say I know a couple of people who have used dating apps and they have successful. I know, and I get it. And every now and then I get back on them. Marina. You do have to be careful. Like I said, you got to be careful with the in-person ones. But yeah, I have. I've gotten back on them every now and then. But still ain't it ain't had no significant difference so far. I guess I don't know if it be the area where you are or what, because with that all the people around here, and I mean I'm on the cusp of the Georgia South Carolina border, what if you will. Both sides of the river, honey, they all on all the same apps. They half of them lying, half. So it's like, look, I get on there for a little bit, then I get off, or I get on there, and I stretch the distance to go an hour or two, whatever. And like, but it's like, that's why I compare. I haven't been back on them in a while, so it's like I'm just minding my business, just minding my business. Trying to run my business, trying to grow my YouTube, seeing about my family, whatever. And yeah, I ain't trying to approach them. I'm not. I'm not. I'm receptive to, someone approaches me, but I'm not out there like really just looking. At one point I was, if you're on the app, if you're on the app, you got to obviously be looking. 'Cause you got to set up the pro, you got to go through the whole process, but I have not done that in a while. When I get tired of it, I delete my whole profile. I delete it in a minute, and I will delete it with a quickness. Because I'm like, I better go. This ain't what you want. You don't want to be having this person, that person messaging you every 5 minutes. Yes. Why you trying to go to the grass? Here, man. Here. There. And I'm like, yeah, this somewhere. I'm like, they'll get on my nerves. I be, you know, dry your feet out. All right. So it's like, I'm going to grass, she said. Not with the shoes. You don't wear shoes over there. Yeah. But it's like, yeah, I'd be like, they get on my nerves. They want to mess me every 5 minutes. Bring them back over here then. Silly. But no. Nope. I'll be like, I don't got time for that. It's taking me a minute to get used to, this person, messaging right now, it's like, okay, I haven't allowed myself to make time to be communicating with nobody else for a minute. I ain't talk to my girlfriends and stuff that much on the phone no more. I really been pour myself into my writing or my business or my family. And I really just like me and my friend girlfriend of mine caught up the other day yesterday. I asked her if she wanted to meet me at the first Friday thing. I hadn't seen her actually in a year. She been busy doing her thing, and I've been busy doing mine. And like so I just like look. Am I ready to give my time and energy? I want to be selfish with my time and energy, but like I don't know. I don't know. I finally kind of got used to doing me. Really, like, yeah, I desire companionship, but I really have gotten used to just doing me. I really have, just being me. Like, just I ain't checking in or none. I got used to not doing none of that. Not doing none of that. So, if all that's going to be happening, it got to really be the real deal, I got to really be careful and be sure. Be careful. You got to really be sure, honey. Yes, you got to really be sure. So, nope. Life is short. Life is short. And that's also why, like I said, I don't want to leave nobody on. I don't want to give them the wrong impression or nothing. So, be up front, everything. Let you know this, that. And let you know. But see, I say, you gotta let them know. I gotta let them know. Gotta let them know, girl. Yeah, got to let them know. But yeah, but like I said, keep living my life, get people in when I can. And if I feel that they, I don't want to say earn more of my time. So it's like it's not like, it's not supposed to be transactional or that, but, it's, you know, if I'm gonna sacrifice some more time for you, you gotta be important. You gotta be, worthy. Like, you gotta be valuable to me. Gotta be valuable to me. I'm gonna be rearranging my time, my thought process, my energy. Cause I be fine just sitting there chilling on social media or writing or working, doing something from working in my business or whatever. I be fine, right? So, we're not doing that. Yeah, not just giving up on sacrificing our time, our willingness. Nope, no, we're not. But so far, it seems to be okay. Be okay. So time will tell. Time will tell. Yes, it will. Time will tell. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna stay down here all 2 hours, one more hour. We're gonna see. We are gonna see. But yeah, I heard of people, like I said, meeting online. I even heard of people meeting someone over the country, in another country. Meeting them online. They actually got married. I actually, I've heard of that happening, and I've actually kind of encountered that situation up in my nail. But cause I was gonna write this in a book, and I'm like, that's too short of a story. Or if I write it in a book, then I'm gonna have to, do some add to it or whatever. But like I said, when I first, not first, but like during my separation and everything, I met someone on Face. No, I met him on Instagram. Yeah, I met him on Instagram, and he was from, dang it, I can't remember exact country he was from, but he was from, what is he, one of the African countries? Dang it, I can't think of the name of it, but he was from Nigeria, yeah. He was from Nigeria. And Lago. Yeah, he was from Lago, matter of fact, yeah. And so he thought it was cause of a rapper or whatever, So we was chatting online. He was younger than me too, but we was, just chatting online. And like at that time, I was very, very vulnerable, like really. So we was talking, everything, talking every day on WhatsApp, video. We started, video chatting. And I mean, just like, girl, that little dude had my mind, I'm telling you. But not so much so because at one point, after we had been talking months and months and months, probably close to several months, I know I probably at least 6 months. It was a long time. And then one day, he was talking. He never asked me for money or nothing before. And then one day, he asked me, would I send him $500 to get a cell phone furniture? He thought it's cell phone expensive over there or something like that. Another, and he asked me. I'm like, hey, what? I still remember to this day. I was standing in my kitchen. I was cooking. I forgot what I was cooking. But I was standing in my kitchen cooking, talking to him. And I was like, what? I'm like, I just didn't know what to say. And of course, I ain't have it, but I was like, oh. And then he was like, well, because I was talking about my call. I had a LLC, a call center, LLC from home. This was during when the pandemic first started. Right, 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 Marita. So I was like, I ain't got no money to send you. Like, ooh. Like you might have had my little mind, my little heart, but you ain't get my coins. I was like, uh-uh. And so so I was like, oh, so I stopped. I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Then he went to like stalking me on phone wise, like calling me down. He was sorry, and I'm like, hey, how does stalker, become, how the person who's supposed to be, the criminal, the scam or whatever, then they ended up falling for you because it's like he would not leave me alone. Like literally, he was. See, I mean, I don't even know. I got all the messages on Instagram. He was like, how sorry he was and broke his heart and he never admitted to her. I mean, he was going on and on and on. And I was like, I see, like I said, I blocked him and everything. But I was like, he literally went on and on to the point where he even tried to say he was in the hospital one time. I had a fake picture and everything. But yeah, right. Is that right? Even if I had it, yeah, I wasn't about to do that. And I was like, And yeah, I ended that real quick. But I was like, wow, all this time, but then you gonna ask me for some money. I could see people, but that's all you hear about is little people in them foreign countries scamming us black women over here. And I'm not about to be the one. I was not about to be the one. And so yeah, I ended that girl. But I was like, what in the world? So then that had to be 2020, late 2020, early 2021. And how about, I want to say maybe a few months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, maybe, um, he, because, okay, back at the time, there was this other woman I used to see on his page that did like a lot of social media content and stuff, right? But I ain't paying no attention, right? So, but I remember her screening. So how about, I want to say about maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago, she messaged me on Instagram. She messaged me on Instagram. And I knew exactly who she was. I remember the name. I don't have that many Instagram followers and stuff. So I knew exactly, who she was. But I didn't know she said they was about to get ready to get married. And she had this feeling that, that he she just had this good feeling that it was something about me or whatever. And I was like, girl, I ain't talked to this man in a couple of years, in a few years. Like, I done moved on with my life. Like, I have not heard, and he hadn't even reached out to me. So I was like, that was just that was just her guilt. Her, I guess she was busy cautious or nervous or whatever about marrying him. But I was like, I told one of my girlfriends, I was like, girl, do you know that, this, and they messaging me? So I got my friend, she went over there, the same friend who found out about that guy. Cause me and her was working together when that happened too back in then when I met the guy from Lago. And so she went to because I couldn't go on the page, she go see them looking, so I had her go in there and look, and she was looking at we were looking on there, and they was together. And I was like, but I don't know why she thought, what she felt. Like I said, I hadn't heard from him in years. Do you think I was? Well, child's nightbot messing with you and those them emojis. But I was like, I ain't heard from this man in years. Like, I was like, I wish y'all well, but just the fact that she thought about it, wondered. But later on, I did do a little snooping. They actually got married. She went over there. She went over there to Nigeria because all the pictures is on there. I ain't gonna put their name on here. But you send me an email, I send it to you. Yeah. But yeah, they actually got married, and I wish them the best. I hope it's a true union and everything, But they actually got married, and the first thing came to me was he was actually really real, like in my mind, because after all that stuff happened, I'm like, okay, he's just, another scammer over there. But I was like, well, dang, if he really was, really real in a sense, kind of halfway or whatever. Like, yeah, 'cause right? I don't know, because from looking on her profile, I know she's a content creator, and I want to say we going in a minute. Well, y'all, I'm gonna take y'all home in a minute. Cause that memory finish playing, and I want to say if I'm not mistaken, she sells one of them products or something like not Mary Kay, but something, or either she do travel or something like that. It's on her page. But I don't know what other business she's run because I don't know what other kind of money she got. But I don't know. But I'm like, that's what I was wondering. Like, but she actually went over there, and I think he came over here to see her too. I think, but she got pictures where she actually went over there to Lago. They got married and everything. I was like, wow. I said I was gonna write a story and do a spin-off of it or something, but I don't know. But he actually got married. They actually got married. I was like, wow. It really, he really was real. That was just my thing. Cause I was like, in my mind, like, he just regular old scammer. But like, dang, unless he just caught him with his fish, right? He caught his fish. He went fishing and he kept playing his cards, right? And I guess at that time back then, I guess it was between me and her. I guess when I was sleeping, he was talking to her because we was talking on the phone all the time. Like I said, at night when I got off work, we was FaceTiming while I was at work. Like, not FaceTime, but like, WhatsApp or whatever. We was, video chatting at work with my coworkers. They all, saw him and his little friends or whatever. Like, I was like, what? Like, wow. And so like I said, I ain't never heard that no problem since way back then. But it was something made her message me. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. Unless she's talking to some other folks too or something. I just do not know. So, but yeah, that's just one of my little funny life stories. Oh, one of my little funny life stories. One of the life will take you through some changes, right? Life will take you through some stuff. Trying to get these students there. They want more 45 minutes or something. It's time to go get a mama from work. But we gonna see, honey. We gonna see. Yeah, honey, that was a time, girl. That was a time, honey. I was like, mm-mm. You sunbathing? My granddaughter lay on her towel. Well, I was like, uh-uh. But yeah, child, like I said, you know, this internet day and age or whatever, all this new age stuff, like be careful. You try to get out there and try it out. You single ladies, y'all be careful. Y'all be careful. And like I said, we know that some do end up being a happy ending, but all of them don't. So just be careful. And that's for anybody really, because like I said, you in person too. You just never know how it's gonna go. That's why you gotta use discernment, trust your judgment, you know, trust your gut feeling. If you feel something, go with that feeling. Don't just brush it off. If somebody making you feel a type of way, making you feel uncomfortable, go with that gut feeling. Don't brush it off. Lean into that feeling. Figure out what's causing it. Don't just brush it off and say, oh, it ain't nothing. What's the matter? Come in. What's wrong? You all right? You cold. Girl, it's not cold. But yeah, so yeah. Cautious, ladies. Ask questions, but also pay attention to them. It ain't necessarily about asking questions, because like I said, people will tell you what you want to hear. But just pay attention, to their mannerisms, just pay attention to everything. They say everything that glitter is not gold, right? Everything that glitter ain't gold. So you pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. You tell them to pay attention, pay attention. Yeah. Pay attention, pay attention. Oh, Lord, 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 yeah, child, I done pulled out everything. We got a good here today. Oh, we got a good dose today, girl. But yeah, I'm gonna put that video up later on about the festivities from the day with the race and stuff, so y'all can see all that and everything. And share that with y'all. But I'm gonna give them a little bit more time. Watch out, man, be attention. You can't use your shoes over there on the water park. Where you going then? Huh? Oh, okay. Well, y'all go over there, but just get the shoes. But yeah, girl, I'm like, no ma'am. No ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. That has been our my little TED talk, y'all, for today. We started a little early today instead of our after dark. It's Saturday evening, real relationship talk. Beware. I hope something that I share help somebody. I know Marina married, but that what I share help somebody out there in the dating world. Ladies, be careful, protect yourself. I'm glad you did. I did too. I did too. It was a good conversation. It really was. But yeah, I'm gonna get on off of here and see about these children. Let them play for a little while longer. Might hop on something else. I don't know. But yeah, girl, and I will see you in these YouTube streets, honey. All right, see you later.